It's Still a Mystery to Me, written by Emily Hynds. Read by me, Brenda Valdivia. I got COVID at the tail end of the holiday season. About 2 weeks later, my oldest cat died. And the day after that, I started my period. These events don't seem connected, but also, are they? Yesterday, I made the choice to pay another person to kill my cat. My ward of 19 years. It both does and does not feel like the right thing to do. And today, my house smells like death, even though she didn't die here. Although I think she has been sort of dying for a while now. We also euthanized our dog about 6 months ago, and I still haven't written about that. I've been thinking about that too. Why don't I want to write about my dead dog, but I do want to write about my dead cat? What does this say about my relationship to them both? That's thoughts for another day. She came into my life 19 years ago as a two-eyed little kitten with a lot of spunk. And she left yesterday as a one-eyed old lady with noticeably diminished levels of spunk. Yesterday at the vet, everyone kept exclaiming, 19, when they found out how old she was, and congratulated me on keeping her alive that long. The consensus yesterday was that 19 was a long time for a cat, and that it was time for her to move along. I was totally on board with this consensus as well. But I was also thinking that if this was my son, and yes, I thought son and not daughter, I don't know why, even though Dizzy was female, that 19 would be considered very young. And it would be a great tragedy for my son to die at this age, especially if I, his mother, was still alive. When we were younger, some of my friends would like to call Dizzy Dr. Cat, always said in a dramatic way. That you might introduce a villain in a movie because she only had one eye and was kind of evil. And another way to say it was that she had a lot of personality and liked to fuck with you. One of the first fundraisers we did for Bootown was a fake fundraising party called Diz-Aid, where we were ostensibly raising money to buy Dizzy a new eye. Partygoers would receive an eye patch and a red plastic Solo cup with their entrance fee. There was a pitcher of mojitos in the fridge, beer iced down in the washing machine, and dancing in the dining room. I would pay good money to see pictures from that party. There was a Diz-Aid banner and everything. I would also pay money to see photos of her kitten years. We're gonna get through this, I promise. This was many computers ago. She was basically still a kitten when we had to get her eye removed, which was even cuter. A little baby with one eye and a cone. I loved her so much. One reason why it doesn't feel right to put them down, I think, is because we're supposed to take care of them. Dizzy was very old and ailing, so it makes sense. But I remember really feeling that way when it was time for our dog to go. That was more of a surprise. We didn't see it coming. Her quick illness and very rapid decline, and I remember feeling more angry, like the rights I had as her caretaker and the person in charge of her well-being being trampled upon. And that was very rude. Dizzy had the softest fur. And I know a lot of people say that about their cats, but I really mean it. You can ask other people that met her and they will agree. She was very memorable by default. You don't come across a one-eyed creature very often, cat or otherwise. She was a people cat. She always came to say hello at parties and loved to get pet. In my experience, that is not unheard of for cats per se, but is unusual. She wasn't skittish. She often seemed unflappable, like she had really seen some shit. But what in her little sheltered indoor cat life could she had really have been seen to make her that way? It's still a mystery to me. An ex and I got her together, and when we broke up, there was some debate as to who should get her. I won, obviously. And it felt like winning a custody battle. Not once at the time or since have I felt bad about it. This cat is, and always has been, mine. Some things you just know, you know? She was mine, and there was never any doubt in my mind that I should be the one responsible for her. We belong together. She gave me cat scratch fever. Once I was trying to help her get out of a laundry basket, and she was stuck in. I never considered that cat scratch fever was real until I got it. I had an actual fever, and my lymph nodes were swelled, basically a bacterial infection, I later learned. She lived with 2 long-term boyfriends, at least 10 apartments and or houses, 4 to 5 roommates, and lastly, 1 husband who wasn't emotionally attached to her like me, but was a good cat dad. She whistled, snored while she slept. She liked to be scratched at the very absolute most tip of her chin, which is weirdly what I think I will miss the most. She was a pain in my ass a lot of the time, and I loved her so much. Today I woke up at 4:30 a.m. thinking about her, crying about her, writhing in discomfort because I had just started my period, reliving her final moments, thinking about her tiny little body and her bad hips and her soft fur that I will never again touch in this life. My gut wrenching in pain, in part of the menstrual cramps, and in part because my little girl didn't come back with me from the doctor's office, which I knew she wouldn't. I took her there with the intention for her to die, but still. We just spent 2 weeks convalescing together, but I was the only one getting better while she was just getting sicker. She was my cat, and I was her person, and it was a grave responsibility to be in charge of another creature's life. What business did I, a mere 20-year-old youth, not even living on my own, have that to take on? What made me think I could take care of her? It's still a mystery to me. But I never had any doubt. I knew from the moment I saw her, that tiny baby with the fucked up eye and the bad case of ear mites and the sass, I knew that she was mine and I was hers, and that we would be together for the rest of her little life. Thank you.
Oh, it's tender. Oh no. Oh, okay. We can make it through this, y'all. I'm sure there's some wet eyes in the house right now. I think it's really beautiful that we can all feel this thing together. And thanks for giving a story like that space here. Like I said before, Grown Up Storytime is full of some of the best listeners in the world. Such good listeners, you could probably complete this. Yeah, you're doing it's okay. You'll know when you're not supposed to talk. So let's just try that a couple more times. Such good listeners, you could complete this. I heard mostly sentence and I don't know. Okay, let's see. What's another one? How about them? Yeah, I was like, maybe they'll say Strohs. I really had no intended answer in mind, so you all won. Now, what about don't mess with? Okay, once more with feeling. Don't mess with. Thank you. This next story is called Don't Mess With. Written by, just kidding, Patrick O'Rourke. It's your job now. Patrick O'Rourke and read by Fred Lindner.